What's up, guys? We are back.
Back again.
We're on week number 9 here.
Episode 9. We skipped a week.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it's episode 9, not week 9. Apologies out to you.
Yeah, we missed one last week due to some unforeseen circumstances. We lost a family member.
We did.
Yep. Little old Bella B decided it was her time to go.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So my lab pit mix I adopted 6 years ago, she got pretty sick on us. So we had to make a tough decision, and it was just one of those things. We found out on a Wednesday, and it just didn't seem right to do an episode. So we took a week off.
Yeah. Bella was one of my good little companions as well. Every time I went over there, she'd nuzzle her way into my lap. So
such a little sweetheart.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those things where, she was on the verge of getting put down before I adopted her, and I just felt I felt that I could help her, and I hope I gave her a decent life over those 6 years. But cancer's a bitch.
yeah.
Cancer sucks.
Mm-hmm. It happened really fast, too. So
Yeah, she slowed down real quick on us, and it got to the point where we're like, okay, we need to figure out what's going on. And we kind of knew at that point already, unfortunately, but we just needed that, little bit of reassurance that it was time. And we took her in, and they found that she had a mass in her abdomen that was pretty large, and surgery was an option. And at the end of the day, I can really appreciate the vets here in town for being honest with me and saying that it's feasible. He trusts his professional capabilities, but he personally wouldn't do it either.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of it's a hard thing to do as a pet parent. To make that decision, not let selfish opinions step in. And it was just nice to hear it from somebody that we trust, that it was the time. So unfortunately, yeah, on Friday we had to put her down, and this is a tough little trying time for our family and everything. So we decided we were going to put the kibosh on that week's podcast, and we hope you guys understand, because, we all have family, and that hits home to a lot of people. It's something you dread at the end of the day, and
they become a part of your family. I mean,
yeah, and for us, we don't have kids, so those are our babies, and unfortunately they live a shorter life than we do. And it probably won't be the last time that this happens to us, but it was the first, and it was tough. It was a very weird thing to go through, and the house feels a little bit more empty, but we got little Ember in, kind of filling some shoes, so it's a different vibe and everything. But at the end of the day, it is kind of what life is. But I know any pet parents out there listening, they're going to resonate with this. So I hope you guys understand and aren't too upset about us for skipping a week.
we're back now. We're going to keep on keeping on.
Back again.
Plenty to talk about after a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, that's a good positive to look at it. Not that we ever struggle coming up with content, but there's plenty of stuff to talk about, and it was kind of a jumble of a couple of weeks meshed together that we're gonna slam into this podcast. But we hope you enjoy it.
Slam-a-lama. Well, welcome back, guys. I hope the last couple of weeks have been good for everybody. We've actually gotten out fishing a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
That's been not the worst,
No, the weather is still weird enough to where there's not a great pattern, especially not from shore.
No.
We've been making the most of it, I would say. I think we had one skunk in there, but it's been decent.
Yeah. We went out today.
Yep.
You caught 3 pike?
3 pike, yep.
We weren't hunting for them, but they sure as hell wanted to bite.
Yep.
I caught a bass. Probably one of the bigger bass I've caught in my life, anyways. And
There's a lot of potential. You'll break that one this year, I guarantee.
I'm
that.
thinking so.
It was a solid fish, but there's that's small for what there is out there.
It hit me like a frickin' sunfish, which is weird. I mean, it didn't have any gusto to it at all. And then a walleye.
Nice walleye. You got a nice walleye.
That was a good walleye.
That was a good surprise. It's probably, I mean, it is early for them here.
I'm gonna say PB for me.
Oh, I think so for sure. That was a good fish. I mean,
because I don't fish for walleye generally speaking, and holy shit, that thing fought like a bastard.
Yeah, we definitely thought it was a pike after I caught my first few. We were fishing off a pier, kind of a weed flat, I would consider. But that's a good fish. I'm looking at the picture right now, and that was a good fish. I mean, it maybe broke 20. It was probably in the 18 to 20 inch range, and I bet it was. I mean, it was thick. It was a really good fish. Probably around the 4 pound mark. 4 or 5 pounds, maybe. It's hard to say, but it was a good fish.
We're not in our rhythm yet because, like, I know we're gonna get some flack for it, but we didn't measure or weigh the fucking thing.
About 10 minutes later, I was digging through my tackle bag, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I have a scale."
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. We're supposed to record this so it doesn't become a fish story." But I will say that was a PB for me.
That was a good fish, and like Ty said, we're not out there trying to chase for these fish, so it's it was a surprise fish for sure.
Yeah, it was unexpected.
So I think we're gonna do the podcast a little different, and this will actually bridge into our gear of the week because I think it's valid to talk about. You caught that on what I would probably consider one of the most universal baits in fishing.
Yeah.
And it was a simple jig head and average size paddle tail swim bait.
Yeah, and that thing was awesome. It swims through the water really nice. I was doing a little bit of action with it here and there. I kind of gave it just a few little jerks here and there. Honestly, I was just looking to see if I couldn't get on, if any of the crappies or panfish were pushing up at all.
And that's what I mean is obviously you can size them in accordance to the fish that you're after. Like an 1/8 to a 1/4 ounce jig head with a 4 to 5 inch swim bait is going to target more of your game fish species. You can do the same thing with a 1/16 to an 1/8 ounce with a smaller swim bait and target your panfish and your smaller bass and stuff like it's just such a universal technique, especially from the fact that you can do so much with it. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you can pop it, you can jerk it, you can hop it, you can slow roll it,
It's a goddamn bop it.
Bop it.
Flick it.
Twist it.
Twist it.
Twist it.
Bop it.
Fuck it. No, it just is. It's such a universal tool. I think I like them so much too because, like, in cold water, you can slow roll it. You can slow it down so you're just barely brushing over the top of those weeds that are just starting to kind of grow again, and you can burn it. You can, there's just so many different ways that you can fish that.
The problem, so just to base off of that, the problem we were having though is that we didn't lose all of our weed base.
Yes.
Over the winter, it didn't all die off, or it just maintained to where we were actually catching quite a bit of weeds.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like using different techniques, they depend on structure, right? Mm-hmm. Like certain stuff just doesn't thrive in weeds. And in a traditional year, if you have a good ice year and a decent snow year, you're going to have a relatively large weed kill off, and then it'll regrow in the spring when everything blooms and your sun starts to hit it and all of that stuff. We were pulling some really fresh green stuff up when we would snag weeds. And it's, I think, too early for a bloom of weeds. So I'm assuming a lot of that is stuff that just didn't kill off.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we noticed it in a different spot we were fishing. a few weeks back now. Just a little pothole, like little.
Yeah, the spot that we talked about last episode.
Yep.
Or
And
2 episodes ago, whatever
yeah.
it was. I don't even remember.
And so, like, in fishing that, we were catching weeds, and they were, like, deteriorating as we were reeling in. So they were breaking down finally. Whereas these were still pretty whole, but not super alive, I guess.
Yeah, you could tell that they weren't, like, the most vibrant green of, like, something that was freshly grown, but they weren't slimy. They weren't, like you said, just falling apart. So it was kind of that in-between stage, and I think we're going to see that on a lot of different lakes and different sizes of lakes.
Yeah,
the
that's
amount
the
of
big
structure
difference.
that is going to fluctuate based on the influence of the winter that we had, which I don't mind it, because if you can find a fresh weed bed, something that is still relatively alive, it is going to hold fish. Mm-hmm. They do hold on to some of that healthier vegetation. So we might see some fish, instead of spawning on sand flats and rock beds, we might see them doing edge of weed line stuff if you can find healthy weeds.
They're going to be snacking up in a little bit of incognito, is what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, fair enough. I don't like to be watched,
No, and to be quite honest, a lot of our public accesses and public docks and public piers, they tend to be in those types of areas. So if you can find those public docks that have a healthy weed bed, you might have a better opportunity. Mm-hmm. We couldn't have been fishing in more than 8 feet of water at the furthest part of our cast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, that nice walleye was up in there swimming around, I'm sure, chasing bait.
And where I caught both the bass and the walleye was basically in between the farthest point I could cast to.
Yeah, halfway, probably
halfway
5-6
back.
feet of water, I bet.
And like I said, the bass bit me like a freaking a bluegill.
Yeah.
It was such a light bite, and then all of a sudden I was on, and then I pulled it up, and I'm like thinking it was just going to be another northern at first, and I'm like, oh, no, that's a bass. And then the walleye fought like hell. That was super fun.
Yeah.
That was a good catch. So
yeah, and the way it was digging and stuff, I saw the tail flick, and it was relatively long in comparison to where your line was. So I assumed pike, just because, like I said, it's a relatively healthy weed line. You think this time of year, you just think pike, right? We caught 3 of them already at this point. It just made sense that it would be a pike. And to our surprise, you got Mr. Walter decided to show up and make an appearance. And this lake has good walleyes in it, and I would say this is one of the better ones that you'd catch out of there.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a huge population of them. I've caught a couple of low 20s out of here. But it was a really good, healthy fish. So it was nice to see.
Once again, my meat paws overpower the frickin' fish.
No, I don't. This is a good picture, dude.
I don't think so.
It's a good picture.
I look like Wreck-It Ralph.
Your hands are bigger than your head are, but that's...
I know. That's what I'm saying, man. Look at...
You just can't even see you.
I know. Put my hand over my face.
But
and
no,
you can't
I
see
think
me.
back to the whole gear of the week thing, I think that is something, if you don't know what to throw somewhere, or you're just kind of getting into fishing, or, it's, again, like I said, it's just any time in the year, that is a really, really great opportunity, so it's kind of funny because the whole like jig and minnow thing died for quite a while, and I think the paddle tail swim bait kind of slipped in there, and now the jig and minnow thing is coming back. But the paddle tail, you can make that thing work at any point with any action, as long as that little tail is kicking back there. It looks like a fish.
Yeah.
So
And the other fish likes eating the fish.
Yeah, that's a prime forage. So like I said, if you don't know what to throw, or you're just getting into it, I would encourage you to go get some jig heads and go pick up a couple variety sizes of paddle tail swim baits. They make a ton of them. I'm a huge fan of the Strike Kings and what the heck are they called? It's a Japanese brand, Kitex. That's the ones.
Kung Pao.
Kitex and Strike Kings are my two favorites, or Rage, Strike King Rage. But any round-bodied paddle tail swim bait, depending on the size, is going to be a really, really good option. We have our first interruption.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was my bad. Thought it was on silent. That was wrong.
Unbelievable. We're recording.
I know. Should have it on silent. What
a
pile of shit.
But yeah, like I said, it's a kind of small-scale gear of the week. But I think it's something that, like I said, is so freaking universal that it's important to know that is something that you can use at any point and kind of fish it in any way that you need to.
It's an easy but yet
effective,
exactly. It's holding its weight as far as gear goes. So something kind of a little easier to talk about too. You know, we don't always want to push the biggest, latest, greatest thing either.
Well, yeah, and like, I mean, there's a variety of listeners and there's a variety of skill sets and a variety of, you know, things, like a sense of understanding. And this is something that I think everybody can benefit from. You know, and it's not a huge financial bite off or anything like that. You know, just going back to when we were down in Branson, we were throwing tiny little swim baits on jig heads. And we were catching really, really good fish.
Which is weird. Because I feel like around here you have to, like, you're comparable to the fish you want to catch by throwing the size of bait.
Oh, yeah, you always default to like, oh, I need to throw a big bait for a big fish. Sometimes in the colder water, going down to a small size, sometimes it just does the trick. You know, they're lazy, or maybe they aren't lazy. Maybe they're just feeding on a lot of small bait fish. Maybe the prime forage is small little fingerlings. Mm-hmm. You know, so doing a little 2.5 is the answer to that.
Well, and with it being such weird water temperatures and weird levels, and you know, we just got 2.5 inches of rain around here. Mm-hmm. And so, like, our water temperature is fluctuating so aggressively, I feel like. Our off ice, we were at like 80 degrees for a week. And then it was like cooled down again. And then warmed up again.
80 last week.
Yep. And now we're down to 40s and rain again.
Yep, and it's going to rain all next week again.
Which we need the rain.
Yeah, and I'm not going to complain about it by any means.
But it's just going to kind of fuck with the fishing, I think.
Unfortunately, it's cold rain, and I think that's the biggest issue. You know, if we had an 80-degree day and it rained, awesome.
Yeah,
right? Like we pick up some water and it warms the water temp up, and it's awesome. You're killing two birds with one stone. You know, unfortunately, right now, you either take warm weather or you take rain. And I guess I personally would rather take the rain because I think we need it that bad.
Yeah, I'm just at the point where if we can just keep kind of resetting the lake to where it should be, I'm going to be content with that.
Yeah, we definitely need to recoup some of this.
The last 2 years have been bad to us. So, yeah, it was a fun day out there. It's just nice to be able to get out when we can, and
yeah, and I think that's the big thing, too, is, you know, like, was it the most opportune day to go fishing? It was almost 20-mile-an-hour winds and high 40s. It was kind of nipply. I mean, it
kind of
cold.
Sucked out there a little bit, yeah. We were out there in sweatshirts, but...
But, like I said, you got to take advantage of the chances that you get, and, you know, if you sit around and wait for the perfect day, it might not come.
Especially around here lately.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, you either just suck it up and you go do it. And like you said, too, like, you know, maybe you break out the ice bibs just for some insulation. Or, you know, like, you just got to do what you got to do. You dress accordingly, and if you love it, you go do it.
Right.
Right? You figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of just... I'm pretty few and far between right now with the days that I can get out. Just... You and I have both been pretty busy, just between our jobs and then getting ready for Canada and all that type of stuff. So, and then with the little running around, you know,
you only get a couple days a week where you can, you know, step away for a little bit, and you might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, so get out there when you can. Don't let the weather pull you back, because we're all Minnesotan. and if you're not from Minnesota, do
That'd
it
be cool.
too.
I wonder if we have any out-of-state listeners.
I don't know if we do, but it'd be sweet. If you are listening, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
And same thing to you, man. Buck up, dude. Get out there and do it.
Yeah, like either you love it or you don't. And if you don't, that's fine. But if you're listening to this, you probably love it.
Yeah. If you're a casual fisherman, more power to you too, because been there. But no, I'm happy we got out and hope to get a couple more times.
Yeah, and that was fun. And I think that was a good taste of like what we have to look forward to. You know, like when you start getting into a variety of fish when you don't expect to, I can't help but take that as a good sign.
Yeah. I mean, it blew us all away. It was like, okay, that's a walleye.
Yeah. Surprise. And that's fun, you know, like I don't know. I've always been like I go out with kind of the intention to catch a certain fish, and we were kind of out there, like we said, out to catch panfish and everything, but we knew what we were throwing had the potential to possibly catch a variety of fish. Like I said, like it is a very universal style of fishing.
Nothing's wrong with a little catch and release.
Nope.
I don't mind either way. And honestly, if I hadn't caught a fish, I watched Max reel in 3 pike. So
yeah, before you had even caught anything.
Okay, now it sounds like bragging.
No, I'm just saying. Got a question for you about the whole outing.
Sure.
What'd you think of the new gear?
Oh yeah, the St. Croix rods.
Yeah, first time using those puppies since you got them.
Yeah, it was good. I'm loving the St. Croix.
So much that you decided to throw it in the middle of the lake.
Okay, so in my defense, I don't know what the hell was happening. And old Untangled Jesus here found his match as well.
Uh-huh.
But for whatever reason, my line kept tangling up as I was throwing it. And I think we were just overspooled a little bit.
Yeah.
So we took some line off, retied on. I threw a couple more. And I just kept kind of having these weird little issues with it. And I don't know what the hell. But
I think it was a little bit of just rust. It was a little bit of new equipment, a little bit of
rust being me.
it. Yeah, just rusty from not really, fishing much. We have breaks in our season, so
and we had a huge break this year.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of the overspooled factor, a little bit of the new equipment, a little bit of rust. You just mash that all together, and you're gonna have a couple hiccups.
Oh, and then there was geese flying over. So
yeah, right. Distractions.
We were watching
Squirrel.
the geese off to the left side, and as I was looking at the geese, I went to cast, and I did, and my bail closed on me as I cast. I don't know what the hell. And all of a sudden,
it kind of just it just kind of flubbed.
Yeah.
It just sounded like a flub.
Yeah, it did. That's the best way to describe it. And I looked down, and there's my rod, fucking
Just
straight.
slowly sinking.
Well, it actually
I think it wedged itself
it
with
did.
the tip.
I
Yeah.
totally speared that thing into the bottom of the lake. So the handle was kind of floating itself with the freaking cork on it, and
I can't help but think if it was any deeper, it would have
been gone.
slowly
It would have been gone. So yeah, first time using this frickin' rod, and here I speared into the ground. I felt like a winner then. So where Max,
I just reached
reeled
down
up
and
fucking
pitched my bait there and hooked it and pulled her up. But
so we got it. It's fine, but I felt like a fucking moron naturally.
outside of that, what did you think of your new stuff?
It's great.
Yeah.
I might just need different line. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if that's the problem or not.
Yeah,
I could blame it on the line.
I think if we were to redo it, we spooled it with mono, which is a totally fine line to spool it with. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
There's a lot of people who use low stretch mono, and it's just fine. I think I've talked about it, and I'm a big braid to leader guy. I think if we redo it, I think that's the way to do it. You get obviously less memory, less coiling from braid. Mm-hmm. A low stretch line is very important at the end of the day, but You don't want to sacrifice sensitivity or any of that, so that's where the mono comes in, but braid is equally, if not more sensitive, so there's arguments for either or. Mono tends to be more forgiving for people, just because there is a smidge bit of stretch to it. We could definitely do that if you want to avoid the line twist. It's just switch.
I had such a WTF moment. I've never in my life had this happen to me. I literally cast out my line, and it went. You're normal. It went, and that was the sound of the lure going, and then all of a sudden it went, and I look up, and at like the last 4 little eyelets, there is a rat's nest, and underneath that, another rat's nest, and just a coil of extra line. So my equivalent of it is when you're doing a bait caster, and you get your rat nest inside of the bait caster reel.
Yeah. You get a backlash, except his was in between his
in my
5th and 6th guide
eyelets and my guides. Yeah, I'm like, what just happened? And I'm like. So I just left my lure where it was, and I'm like, okay, untangle Jesus. Excuse me. I don't know what just happened here. I've never seen this before. And the other couple guys who were out there were like, yeah, no, us either.
I will say, first off, I got bested today. In my defense, if that line wouldn't have broke, I think I could have gotten it. I will say that leads me to believe that maybe there was some sort of issue with that line.
Mm-hmm.
It was a new spool, but at the same time, I don't know how long that was sitting on the shelf. I don't know how long it,
right.
There's just a lot of variables that come into play, and just how fragile that was.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't it wasn't knotted down tight, right? Like, it was pickable. And I just gave it a little tug just to see what would kind of give on it. And there was nothing tight. And it just goes.
Yep. You weren't pulling that hard at all, and the line just kind of broke. So
it does lead me to believe that maybe there was a bad spot somewhere in there. Or maybe it was, maybe it was kind of old line that was sitting on the shelf for a long time.
Well, because as I was casting too, I noticed there was a few spots that had already started to get little, like, frays or little nicks in them. Yeah. And I'm like, that's kind of odd. It's not like I'm aggressively pulling this through or anything.
We weren't fishing wood. We weren't fishing,
No.
Yes, there were pike. Yes, you caught a walleye. There's toothy critters down there.
But it was before that.
Yeah, and it was in weird spots on the line. It was kind of odd.
We got the last little bit of, like, the shit line that they're just like, hey, boss man, I got this little bit. The guy on the forklift dropped it.
Yeah, and it was in a window display for a while and got, sun worn. And
he's like, it's fine. Just throw it on there. Sell it. We'll make our money back.
And I will say, like, yes, it was a new spool. Yes, it's been in my basement for I don't know necessarily how long.
So it's not new.
It is new. It was it was out of a box. I mean, it was never opened. Maybe you could argue that I shouldn't buy and stockpile line and let it sit in my basement for a while. Sure.
It should be in a humidor.
You don't even put your cigars in a humidor, dude.
Maybe we get a line and cigar humidor. Is that good for line? I wouldn't even know.
I don't know. But no, I was just curious on how you liked yours, because I've been running mine for a few weeks now, and I freaking love my stuff. I do think I'm going to order those panfish specific rods, like the one that you got.
That's a nice freaking rod.
It is nice.
I love the reel that's on there, and I love that rod. It's small enough too to where, like, a lot of your rods that you're running, which is fine, and this is all, I understand that it's all like what you're fishing for.
Right. It's specific to whatever you're trying to do. There are universal setups that can be kind of multi-purposed.
I think these would be that.
The ones that we were using today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that panfish one that you have, that's very, very specific to panfish, you know, with the 750 size reel. You know, it's basically an ice reel on there, but it balances on that style of rod really well. You know, our other ones, we have 2500s on. They're medium light rods. You know, they are a very universal rod. You know, you can handle a relatively decent sized pike on it. You can panfish with it, you know, whatever. They're just good rods. I've been really impressed.
I like that they fit in the back of my truck without having to put them over the back end. That I enjoy. I don't love when they're hanging out the back. It just makes me nervous, but...
Yeah, you know, some freak shit happens. Bill dance happens.
Right.
I don't know.
What have you been working on?
Oh, yeah, dude.
For Canada.
Well, it's tricky to merge kind of the 2 weeks together. We've been working on a lot of shit. This week, Sarah and Andy brought a couple of trailers up.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
Good. Really good. It was easier and smoother than we were anticipating, which I don't mind erring on the side of caution. But it did make us feel like we were a little too cautious.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe we didn't have to worry as much as we did, and that's totally fine. Definitely a reassurance that it was, you know, a little bit easier and less stressful and less hectic than we thought it would be. So we're hoping we can take the next load up this upcoming week.
Sure.
Yeah. Middle of next week, probably. So, boats are done as far as being made. So now it's just wiring stuff in. So that'll be kind of the next thing.
We need to get them.
Yeah. I'm sick of fishing off a dock.
Andy,
get those boats.
get the boats.
He's not going to listen to you. He's mad at you. Ty upset our only investor.
Yeah.
So
It was by accident.
yeah, I know it wasn't intentional.
It might have been pre-investment, though.
No, it wasn't.
You positive?
I'm positive they were the new microphones for sure.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You owe him an apology.
I do.
Now would not be a bad time to do it because he listens.
Hey, I would like to make a public apology for making an ass out of myself. I'm not resigning, but I am apologizing.
No, it was funny. We were when we were at the Midwest Sports Show. Andy won a gun on the Ducks Unlimited raffle, and we had to go up to a shop in the cities to go pick it up. So Saturday we went up, and we had the whole squad. Little Ava was with us, and me, Sarah, and Andy, and we just figured, you know, we'd kind of go shopping. And they had the bright idea to listen to the podcast on the way home. And I think we make a good podcast. I don't necessarily love listening to myself around other people.
No.
That's just a self-conscious thing. Like, I just don't, like, I'll listen to it in headphones in my ear to make sure that we, like, talked about cool stuff and it was entertaining. But, like, it's just kind of weird when you're, like, the front of everything and you're just, like, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be like a movie star going to the movie theater and watching his own movie around other people. Like, it's just odd. So we're sitting here listening to this, and I totally forgot, but it was an episode where we happened to get a bottle from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And we love supporting local businesses, and I try to get all my stuff from town here. Ty's sitting here hyping up Sam's Club liquor as I'm in the car with the liquor store owners of our small town.
Yeah. It was,
and our investors.
It was kind of just like a lapse of knowledge or lapse of remembrance. Not knowledge, but remembrance. Just a thing. I found a good deal. I got excited about it. Damn it.
Not sponsored by Sam's Club, but
I know, and that's the worst part about it. I feel like a dick. So now I'm holding true to it. We're gonna try and get some fun bottles from Andy and Sarah at the old liquor store here in town, and I'm not gonna say or shout out to anybody else.
It was funny because we were like trying to figure out how to fuck with you. Mm-hmm. And they have this big, like the blow up wavy arm figures. And it says like shop local on it or something. And we knew you were in Wisconsin.
Yep.
So we were going to go out to your yard and inflate it in your front yard. So when you came home, it was just waving in the front yard.
That's awesome. That would have been absolutely hilarious, and I totally deserve it. So,
sponsorship revoked. He printed out a return label for this fancy podcast equipment.
Right. He's like, yeah, you guys can pay me back. You got 2 weeks. No.
Oh my God.
They do a good job down there. Anyways, I generally 95% of the time go down there and get everything. So,
look at him backpedal now.
You should probably try and get some 30 racks of Busch Light, though.
No, and I think we'll kind of do some cool stuff. And if we find some neat bottles that we do really, really like from there, it'll be something that I think they try to actively carry more frequent.
Yeah.
Obviously that's, like I said, bourbon stuff it's a weird market right now. There's people buying cases of stuff when they find it. There's people chasing after and paying way too much for stuff, so it is a tricky market, but at the same time, like the availability of stuff, I know that they'll actively try to.
You know what? Then I think this would be something cool. Then this is how we do it. We'll utilize this platform. We'll find some cool stuff, and Andy and Sarah will have it for you.
That's a big promise.
It's no. Like I'm saying, stuff that we can actually get our hands on, and they can actively get their hands on.
We are going to actively look through the book and try to find some fun stuff. And, if it's a big hit, we will do everything in our power to make it readily available for our local folks here. How about we do that? We'll leave.
That's
it at
what I
that.
meant.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it as like, if we're drinking it, you can have it. Because they are a smaller, they're a smaller liquor store, obviously. We're not talking an MGM or something to where they've got the shelf space is kind of the big thing. So they can't stock every single bottle. But if we can find some of the cool ones and then figure out how to have them have it.
In our defense, if they were actively listening to this and we talked about a good bottle, maybe they would stock it.
This is your fault.
Oh, no, I'm kidding you guys. I know you're listening.
Yeah, they're coming for you now. Hey, I'm off the hook. This is great.
I'm just trying to help you with your ordering system. That's all.
If you guys need a new fishing guide, I'll figure it out. So it's fine. I'm not as qualified, but what is a fishing guide?
Yeah, right. Anybody can do it pretty much.
And you cast the reel, you reel the reel. You push some buttons on your fancy sonar. There's no fish. Yeah. It's not my fault. Oh, man.
No, it's good. We're making really good progress there. I just thought that was a little funny tidbit to talk about. I think we're on our last trailer, at least last trailer for stuff for renovations and everything. And it's a big dog. It's a big 26-footer. I think it's 26, but it's massive.
That's a huge trailer. Huge. Yeah, I walked in the shop. I honestly didn't know he had that.
I think it's Marv's.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Marv's. But we knew, obviously, the furniture is a pretty large chunk. We were kind of trickling some of it into the other two trailers, but this one is predominantly furniture.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised with the amount of stuff I fit in there, and then I was also really surprised when it filled up really fast and I still had more shit to put in there.
Oh, you didn't get it all in there?
It's about 2/3 full, and I was kind of looking at it and kind of looking at the other projects that we had sitting there, and I was just like, ooh, I don't want to keep packing this because I don't necessarily know if it's all going to fit, and I don't necessarily know if we're going to take all of it.
So you half-assed it?
I did what I could. I did what I could without my supervisors being there to recommend, advise upon what my next step was.
I'm thinking you should have called me in. Okay, so here, I'm going to toot my own horn right now, and I'm going to toot it loud and fucking proud.
Plug your ears.
I am an expert expert when it comes to packing things into small spaces. When we went, so the reason I say this is because I tent camped for like 8 years, right? Like as soon as I turned 18 and had my own vehicle or whatever, 16 it was, I bought a tent, loved camping. So like packing into my little Grand Am was like a huge thing. So I was like super good at utilizing every square inch of it. And then it was like upgraded to G6. And then I upgraded to a pickup from there, which actually had the 6.5 foot box, which was freaking awesome. But then I bought this pickup and I lost a foot. A whole foot of freaking space, right? We took 4 of us. We went tent camping. I don't know where the hell it was, but there was 4 of us in the truck.
Doesn't even sound like a real story if you don't even know where it was.
Apple River. That's where it was.
Made that up.
No, I had to think about it. That's what it was. So we went to Apple River, and it was my wife and I, and then 2 of our friends, and 2 separate tents. And you weren't around even yet. But I had that so packed so perfectly on the way there and on the way back, even being hungover. And that's just one thing that I've always just been weirdly good at is like Tetrising shit into small spaces.
Yeah, it definitely packing this stuff is. I go home and I play Tetris just so I can prepare for the next day. That L-shaped one can go there.
Oh, I didn't turn it fast enough. Shit.
No, we're getting close. It's getting down to crunch time.
Yeah, you guys are. Well, and I've been going out there and helping when I can too after work.
It's a huge help.
Yeah, like last week, I think I was out there almost every day.
And if they maybe went to take a 4-day vacation, we maybe would have got more stuff done.
That's
this week.
true. I mean, you guys
I don't know
shouldn't
what the fuck
just.
they were doing.
Yeah, you guys shouldn't just get to leave like that just to peruse up to Canada for no reason.
They didn't even check ice conditions.
Yeah, like didn't even take an auger. Didn't even ice fish.
No, I guess all the shorelines are pulling out pretty good from. They went up about an hour and a half south of where camp is, and I guess the lakes are pulling away from the shoreline pretty good. So I think we're getting close.
The lakes are pulling away from the shoreline, huh?
Mm-hmm. The ice was pulling away from the shoreline.
Oh, that was confusing. Like I'm glad I clarified for all you listeners out there.
They knew what I was talking about. Don't act like I'm stupid.
I know. It was funny though.
Words.
That's
matter.
good though. That you guys should be able to get up there then when you're planning.
Yeah, and it might be sooner too. If we get everything up there, we can kind of just do it as we please, essentially at that point, which will be nice.
Yeah, until you got to break ice with the boat.
Put a plow on the front of the pontoon.
Or back the pontoon up to the ice.
Yeah, and just trim the motor up and just...
Or no, the ramp's on the front end.
The ramp's on the front. No, the ramp's on the front.
Ramp's on the front.
Yeah.
Oh. You just get to solid ice with that thing.
Just drive off of it?
Flip the ramp down.
I don't like that in the slightest bit,
that
dude.
sounds freaking
What do you do when
awesome.
you get to the other side when the lake is... Oh, abnormal heart rate. Getting a little excited.
You going down?
What do you do when you get to the other... Say you drive the stuff off onto solid ice.
Well, then you take the boat.
And you drive it all the way around.
All the way. I didn't think about the other side. Maybe the other side's still frozen because it's farther away.
It's the North Shoreline. The North Shoreline's got to be worse than the South Shoreline.
Wow, fuck. I didn't think of it. It sounded like a cool idea.
Sounded like a cool idea.
I was thinking kind of like a D-Day type of deal.
Yeah.
You drop the ramp and you just go and, hauling shit across with the four-wheeler.
Oh.
Well, then you swim to shore, get the boats from the resort.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just cart boats.
Yeah, swim in the freezing cold, rocky water.
Okay, but it's only for however far the shoreline's out, which is what?
Who knows?
Bah.
Could be 5 miles.
Well, if it's 5 miles, then you guys can boat all the way across. And then it's just stupid. Then your idea's dumb. That was a dumb idea you had.
You dumb idiot.
Hey guys, it's Ty here from the Wilderness Whiskey Roundtable podcast. I'm excited to talk to you guys about the amazing Camp Lake St. Joseph up in Ontario, Canada. Sarah and Andy Arnold just took over this beautiful resort and are excited to bring you guys up here. If you're looking for a serene getaway into the wilderness of Ontario, Canada, this is your spot. Bring your family or bring a group of friends and have an experience of a lifetime. Here at Camp Lake St. Joseph, you will be able to get out on the remote lake, St. Joseph, where you catch huge trophy walleye and monster pike. You can bring your own boat up or rent one of ours. Come up and enjoy our rustic cabins, enjoy the fresh air, and get your chance of some fishing of a lifetime. We also will be offering an amazing guide service you can use. Max, our guide, will do everything in his power to get you onto these giant Ontario monsters. Sarah and Andy have put together a welcoming, fun, outdoor haven for you to enjoy. So check us out at our website and book your trip. It's camplakestjoseph.com or give us a jingle at 1-800-JOE-CAMP. That's 1-800-JOE-CAMP. And we hope to see you up there this summer at Camp Lake St. Joseph.
How was your week, buddy?
Little this, little that. I got sicker than a dog again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took me down for a day and a half,
You
2
taking
days.
your vitamin C?
Yeah.
Your zinc?
My daughter just likes to bring home the rotavirus.
Oh, blame it on your daughter.
It is. Daycare's
Jesus.
God damn it. If any young
Careful
guys...
what you say, because you're going to get your daycare rights revoked here, too.
No. I won't say where it is. It's every daycare.
Yeah, but they know.
Ugh.
They know you're talking about them.
I don't think any of them daycare ladies listen to us.
You don't know that.
I don't think so.
What about that one that has a crush on you?
I don't think that's true either.
Now you're in deep shit, too.
Yeah, no
You're
kidding.
Bring Mila to
Thanks.
work next week.
No, I'm in trouble.
Bring her to daycare next week.
Exactly. She's going to be strapped to my back at Wisty's because I don't have daycare anymore. No, but if
Which
if
one
you,
of us were you talking about, Tyler?
Yeah, who? All the owls. I was talking about the owls. Exactly. No, but if you're younger or you got kids or older and got kids, daycare, just, you get the shit. You get everything. And I'm like pretty predominantly don't get sick. Generally speaking, like I'll get a cold. Mm-hmm. There was 2 years where I didn't get a cold at all. And then I had my daughter after those 2 years. And I've gotten everything since. Like, it's ridiculous.
Even the vid?
She didn't give me the vid. I did get the vid. But I ain't going to talk about it.
Oh, shit.
No, other than that, pretty decent. I did get out golfing.
Big golf guy.
BGG. No, it's a little hobby I picked up a few years back just with the wife's side of the family, and it's actually a ton of fun, and I'm a beer drinker anyways, so naturally it just fits into my wheelhouse, and I've actually been kind of getting a little more proficient at it, which anybody who does golf understands that a little bit of progress is...
It's a huge win.
A lot of progress.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's the best sport to hate to play. To love to hate to play, I should say. So yeah, got out on Sunday. It was a beautiful day. We went
Could
a
have
little
been fishing, but...
Well, you weren't even available for fishing, so... What were you doing Sunday? You were busy.
I was working.
Yeah, you were busy. So, there that went.
Whatever. Speaking of little things that you picked up with the in-laws, you're doing something pretty fun this summer, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's right. So, I got invited with the old father-in-law. Big shout-out to Johnny.
Johnny boy.
And Danny's cousin, Brett.
B-Dog.
B-Dog. Brett Man. We're headed up to Michigan. Do some salmon fishing on the big water. Never done that before. Super excited about it. It was like 500 some odd bucks. It was like $580. I'll get you more details as I know, as far as where we're going and stuff. But it sounds like it includes the meals, the stay, and then your fishing as well. So I'm really super looking forward to that.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, we're leaving on a Friday, and I can see if there's room for another guy.
I ain't going to be here.
Oh, oh, yeah, get out of here with your jealousy, you bitch. You're going to be in Canada, for F's sakes. Good Lord, over here.
Still, though, I just get to catch a bunch of walleyes.
Northerns and trophy walleye and trophy northerns.
Big shout out Lake St. Joe's.
Lake St. Joseph.
Subtle plug.
Subtle plug.
No, the whole salmon thing is something that's been on my bucket list for a long time, so I am kind of jealous.
I've eaten plenty of salmon in my life. I've smoked plenty of salmon in my life at the meat market there.
You just roll it up like a joint?
Yeah, that's great. You roll her and smoke her. You smoke it in a normal smoker. You grind it up. You throw it in a little rolling paper, and then you just. It's better than weed.
Jesus.
No, just kidding. If you're listening to this at home, non-disclaimer, do not try this at home. This is done by professionals.
For stupidity. No, you should next week we should have a little bit more detail on it, but I'd be curious to see like who the charter is and kind of how they do things. We could talk about that a little bit more next week.
Yeah, I'll get details and start kind of digging into it. It'll be either next week or the next couple of weeks. Just
when are you going?
I think it's the third weekend of June.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that'll be pretty cool. That'll be a cool episode when we come back from that because we should have plenty of fish stories from both sides of our
and I'm actually
adventures.
Coming back from the family lake trip the week before that too. So
you got a mess of stuff.
Yeah, it'll be
a fun week.
It's gonna be wild, and then it's actually kind of starting to become a busy summer.
You were so worried about being so lonely and so sad and afraid without me.
Yeah, what the hell am I going to do on the weekdays, dude? Wednesdays are going to be stupid. I'm going to have to actually get something done. We're still going to podcast, and it's going to take like an hour, and then we're going to be like, well, we got stuff going on, so. Plus the 18-hour time difference.
It's the same time zone.
I know, I'm just kidding. No, I think it should be a good summer this year. Couple fishing trips between the family lake trip, which we always fish, and then the salmon, and then I'm officiating a wedding for one of my best friends.
And coming to Canada.
Coming up to Canada.
You'll be doing more fishing than I will.
Yeah. I'm going to make you guide me, too, and I'm not going to pay you.
That's okay.
It's going to be free.
It's kind of like what I do now. It's kind of like what I just did today.
Yeah. You're just going to be happy when I bring a 30 rack of Bush Light up there.
Yeah, because we'll probably be out by the time you come up. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want you to bring a 30 rack of Bush Light or if I want you to bring a bottle of bourbon up.
I'll bring both.
You got to pick one.
Smuggle it my ass.
Also, you can't bring a 30 rack.
No?
Nope.
There's rules on the size of the beer case.
But in it's 24, but it can be bottles or cans. So you just pick whatever has more volume.
Oh, well, I found the loophole. 16-ounce cans.
Yeah, the big dogs. Yeah. That's basically a 30 rack, essentially.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Close enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they only allow you it's a volume limit on liquor or a 24 pack of beer.
Huh. Those stickly bastards.
We're not going to talk bad about them. But yeah.
Well, it's not anybody specific.
No, other than Prime Minister, Mr.
Well, see, now you're specifying. That's where you get in trouble. See, I'm not specifying. I'm just saying in general,
I didn't say which prime minister.
Canada's rules suck, man. If you don't sell Busch Light, you're doing it wrong. Import some shit, man.
No, we have to get that weird, like, off-brand Busch Light stuff.
That you hated.
It wasn't great.
What was it called?
I was trying to remember.
It's a weird name. Canada's got some really... That was wild.
Boing.
That was the spring from my mic there. It's making some funky noises. I
It's
apologize.
blue something or another. What the fuck is that?
Blue Bollock.
Oh, no. Yeah, Labatt Blue or something.
I mean, beer is like kind of naturally just an acquired taste, so I can't help but think you'll adapt to it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was fine. Like, if that's what we
looking
can
at
get,
it-
it's fine.
Looking at it, to me, I'm looking at it and I'm going, that's Canadian hams. Mm-hmm. And hams and I...
Not a big fan, huh?
No, I'll drink a rack of them. But in the morning, it's the worst hangover, and me and the toilet get close. It's never failed either.
We did try a new brewski.
Oh yeah. What was that called? It's long shot.
No,
It's close to that.
it's got a freaking deer on it. Oh, what is that?
It's a Colorado beer. Max found it in Wisconsin.
A guy that I follow has been like huge. I think he was like a part like creator of it.
It's not buckshot, is it?
Nope.
It's really really good actually. It's
Midwest Flyways.
still considered a light beer, which is weird because it's got very heavy flavor.
Boom. Outlaw.
Outlaw, that's what it was.
It's kind of like shandy-ish.
Yeah, there's a little bit of hoppiness to it, a little bit of like I would say a pilsner, but yet it's still your standard kind of light beer.
Yeah, Mile High
At the
Light
end.
beer.
Yeah.
105 calories. And it was surprisingly really good. I'm actually looking at a post about it, and there's people like, can't wait till it's available in Minnesota, whatever. We found it in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And it was kind of random because I had been kind of watching the like their map on where they're at and everything, and I didn't think there was anything even close to us. Like, by close I mean not Wisconsin close. Mm-hmm. And we found it in a gas station.
Well, we only bought one case of it, and we tried it once we got home. And we were like, oh, shit, we should buy some more of this before we leave Wisconsin.
And then we didn't.
And then we didn't. So if you're looking for something kind of new and fresh and you can find it in your area, and I don't think it's locally available yet, but it's called Outlaw.
Sarah and Andy, look into getting Outlaw beer so that we can continue to support you. in
Yes,
our
Sarah,
small town
Andy. Let's
liquor
get this
store.
thing going because I think we could kick it off. So we'll give the guy a call. We'll rave about him. We'll tell him about our awesome podcast, and they're going to be in.
I will say they are now in Red Wing, Spring Valley, Glenwood City, and Menominee.
Which is pretty close, I think. Well, no, we were...
Menominee is Wisconsin.
Right, but we were farther away from Menominee. We bought it before we went to Menominee.
Well, I just did 100 miles from here, so...
We did it before we took that hour and a half back. Or
Yeah.
south or whatever.
I wonder if it had to be close to Spring Valley or... I don't know. We were in Wisconsin picking up log furniture for camp, and we had to get gas, and we stumbled upon stumbled upon it in a gas station.
Yeah, and which that brings me to a good point. We need to legalize real beer in our frickin' gas stations in Minnesota. We're the last state in the country.
We're the only ones left?
Yep.
That's pathetic.
Yep. There's actually a campaign. I think Quick Trip is running it. Let me see if I can find it here.
Dude, we are almost at an hour already.
Really?
Holy smokes.
Wow, we're just talking
That's
our way
fun.
through it. Yeah, no kidding. There was like, oh man, I thought I seen in that Quick Trip. I'm pretty sure that's where I did see it, and there's this site you can follow.
Well, it doesn't matter because you can't buy your liquor at a gas station. You should buy it at your local liquor store.
Well, right. Shit head. Quick Trip pushing to sell alcohol in Minnesota. It is Quick Trip. There's like a big petition you can sign. I just think we need to do it anyways because I'm sick of being the last state to do anything because we're so kosher and everything.
Well, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I'm a trendsetter. I want to be the first one to do something.
Well, yeah.
I hate being the last person to do something. I don't like being a follower.
Well, the state should fucking just do it. Damn it.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Like, the only reason some of these companies still make 3-2 beers because we're the only state who buys them. I hope they just stop making 3-2 beer. You want to talk about a bad hangover? Drink a night worth of 3-2 beer. Go pick up a case of Busch Light from a...
Don't do that. You can't do that. We're not supposed to do that. We're not encouraging anybody else.
I was saying it. I didn't finish it. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying,
it's
like...
stupid. Go to your liquor store and buy regular beer.
Go to Arnold's Liquor in Janesville or Waterville and pick up what you need.
Oh, we love you guys. This is just good fun now at this point. Just poking the bear.
Had to relight the cigar. What are we smoking yet? We got the Gurkhas again.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I tore mine off.
These
It's
are
just peeling. Super weird.
fantastic. I've got the Marquesa.
Marquesa. I had the Heritage, which I will say it is a phenomenal cigar. I am kind of disappointed with how it's been wrapped.
That's my fault.
Did you wrap it? Mm-mm. Because you didn't have a humidor.
No humidor. It's been sitting in this wooden box in the garage for solid almost whenever the last time we talked about it was. So probably 4 to 6 weeks ago, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking with the weather being what it was too, that didn't help anything because it was cold and hot out here. So
I did see the other day somebody took those little like mini fridges, like the wine cooler fridges, and they turned it into a humidor. And I can't help but think that a guy could maybe find one on Marketplace. And I don't know what the process of turning it into a humidor is, but it's not like we have thousands of cigars. It'd be just a couple boxes that you throw into a...
We could start stocking them then.
Correct, right. And especially if you find something that you like, and now you actually have the ability to store it.
Where do you get your cigars in Canada?
I don't know.
What's the rule on bringing cigars in there?
There's a tobacco rule. I don't know. It doesn't really specify on cigars. I don't know.
Well, we're not a cigar podcast necessarily, but I do like talking about them because the more I get into whiskey and sit here and smoke cigars with it, the more I feel like I enjoy cigars. But what was I just about to say? Oh,
You could bring 50 cigars.
50?
50.
Does Andy ever smoke cigars?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We should. Okay, so we need to get Andy on here before you guys leave.
That might be the big old number 10.
At least for a tidbit. If he doesn't want to do the whole thing, that's fine.
I think it'd be freaking hilarious if he would do the whole thing with us.
Yeah, just bullshit.
He's a fun guy to sit down and talk to.
Well, and he could get us some more insight on like his experience with the Canada, with the Camp Lake St. Joseph.
Camp Lake St. Joseph.
I hate you so much. I thought I did it well.
I think you put an M in there somewhere.
Camp Lake St. Joseph.
Bingo.
I did say it that way the first time. After I said it the second time, I'm like, wow, I muffed that. It's hard to just off the cuff, just,
Camp Lake St. Joseph.
okay.
Okay.
That wasn't off the cuff. You prepared for it. You paused.
I've been preparing my whole life for this moment.
We have some fun projects coming up. Or could be unfun, depending on how well they go.
What do we got?
Well, so you're moving
Yep.
to a new spot here in Janesville.
Yep.
We're talking about redoing the entire bathroom.
Yep.
It's going to be a process.
Yep.
I went and looked at it yesterday, and I was kind of looking at this tiny little bathtub they had. And I know your wife is really predominant on the bathtub,
She loves her baths.
I totally get. I don't like baths. I think it's weird sitting in my hairy leg water.
So you shower before you bath, though.
I don't like
It's
it.
relaxing.
I don't like it. If you do,
I'll just sit behind her in the bath and just have a great time.
so
You
that's
can
why we
believe
need.
that.
That's why we need a bigger bath. So I'm like, well, why don't we just take this wall out? And it's directly across from where the laundry room was, but all the fixtures are right there. It's an old house. It's a really old house. So, as you know, with old houses comes a lot of old techniques and a lot of jerry rigging, and so it needs a little bit of love. So we're gonna look into tearing down a wall, putting in a normal sized bath, kind of making it a bathroom, laundry room combination.
Dude, what are we going to do if somebody's taking a bath and we have to do laundry?
Then you share the bathroom, man. It's just you and your wife.
What if we have a guest over that's taking a bath?
Who do you let come into your house? And I've never came over and showered in your house.
I don't know. I'm thinking if, like, our friends from Fargo come down and
Well, then you're
Corey
going
wants
to
to
be...
take a bath.
Hey, I mean, then, hey, shout out to Corey. You're going to be close.
Big bath guy.
Big bath guy Corey. Big bath Corey. He can't help himself. No, I think it'll be fun.
It'll be cool. Yeah.
We got a little bit of work to do in the kitchen and like living room and the bedroom.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of like finish carpentry stuff.
Yeah.
Like to just trim and
Your wife wants carpet.
yeah, I don't know if the carpet's going to be a feasible thing this summer or this spring or not. I don't know.
Big shout out to Sarah and Andy. Let me know if you guys want to do carpet in there, because you got a guy who could probably give you a hookup, but you know.
Dude, you don't even work there anymore.
Big shout out to Rick White Carpet. I'm thinking I could probably get something. I don't know. I'll exchange meat. I'll exchange meat for any services.
What kind of meat?
Well, what are you looking for?
Man meat.
Oh, all right. You're gonna want to private message me on my Instagram for that one.
Ty Otter 3446. Yeah, no, we just decided to bite off moving in the middle of all the shit that we got going on, but I think it's a smart move financially. And then we got some boats to rig. And what else do we got?
Boats to rig. We're running low on projects out there. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
We've got plenty of tumblers to laser.
Yep.
We're still figuring that out. We're trying to figure out how the hell to laser engrave these big, basically like beer growlers.
They're
Is
growlers,
essentially
yeah.
what they
Yeah.
are. And they're big metal ones that are painted.
And it seems to be that they're painted, either they're painted extremely heavily or they've used
powder coated.
Yeah, they've used some other material that's just not really responding to the laser very well.
Or the laser's just not powerful enough. I don't know.
And it's so weird because, like, right now, I'm running RTICs and Yetis, and they're burning perfectly.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So it's like this cheap growler that we got for a fucking $1 a piece, basically, is just not doing it. And I just don't understand. I can't wrap my head around it. And it's not the most important thing to get done, but it is something on the list, and I just don't know if we're going to get it figured out. And if we don't, we might just end up cutting a bunch of vinyl stickers and sticking them on it, because I don't know what else to do.
New laser.
Just a whole new laser. I keep seeing these, I think they're CO2 fed lasers.
How's that work?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure that's like the next step up in like power.
Yep. For just being able to cut through.
What are you asking for here?
You want to just hand me the clippers.
That's it.
So for whatever reason, the way I snipped this, my ember's down here
Oh, that's weird.
in the center of the cigar.
That kind of just fell in.
It just kept burning there instead of the rest of the cigar. Anyways.
Odd. But yeah, we are, like, the projects are getting down to just kind of like the monotonous stuff now at this point, which is it's kind of nice.
Right. Yeah, you're not, like, busting.
Aside from
Complete
when the
ass.
boats come in, because I think those, and I told him, I said, for my boat, we will just have one long night drinking a bunch of beer and we'll get that fucker done in a night. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I think I got like 2-3 days worth of working on the boat. And I was like, oh, you do not understand how we work then, because you give me a case of beer and a good buddy, and we're gonna get that fucker right.
Yeah, you and I have done some projects that should have taken longer than what they have, and we've actually done them proficiently well.
And I can't help but think we put it in a shop where we have the correct tools and all the resources to do it, and we'll get it done in a night. I'm not worried about it. We'll be fishing on it the next day.
I'm bringing my frickin' DeWalt tools as well.
Why? We're doing it in a shop that has unlimited DeWalt tools.
Because I couldn't find a fucking thing out there.
Here we go, bashing them again.
No, I'm not
Now
bashing. But like like most of the things you need are like there and organized to an extent, but they're not organized to an extent to where I know well enough to find them.
Yes, they're organized for somebody who has been out there and is familiar
Or
with
the
the
one
system.
who fucking organized them.
Correct.
Which I understand because I've got ADHD like a mofo. I can tell you in every single one of those drawers in my little frickin' Craftsman box, whether it makes sense to most other people or not, but I can tell you which drawers and what. Because when it's your own tools, it's your own tools. You
Which
know where
drawer's
you
your
put
wire
shit.
cutter?
It is in the third drawer down.
From the top, yep.
Yep. And it would be on the left-hand side of that drawer.
See, his is just in the one that's labeled the wire cutter. You have to know how to read when you're out there, Ty.
No, I understand that, but I opened his wrench drawer and I went, holy shit.
Ooh, there's a lot of wrenches.
There's just a pile of wrenches in there, which is fine.
It's a wrench drawer.
It's a wrench drawer.
Nobody's lying.
I was like, okay, I'm going to take 20 minutes to find the two I need, or I can just, I've got sets of stuff that just are travelable that, you know what I mean?
And I think what happens after you do this for so long is like, you know, you lose some of your sets or something breaks or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it just gets thrown in there. So you might have 10, 13 millimeter wrenches in there, but you might only have 1 9.
Right. And that's I know it so well because that's how when I was going out to like Libby's house, her dad ran that big elevator business, and so he had like 3 different shops out there, but his main shop was
where all the tools were, and the most common problem was all the tools would go missing, or this one from this wrench set would go missing. So it was the same thing.
Yep.
Over the years, when you've got multiple employees coming through, grabbing stuff, wrenching on something, and then leaving it somewhere, or losing it, or just blatantly stealing it, depending on the situation.
Right.
You just keep buying wrench sets. So I totally understand
If
it.
he's curious where all his 10 millimeters went, they've came home with me.
Well, you can never have
Just
enough 10
kidding.
millimeters.
Yeah, 10 millimeters are the ones that go missing.
They're
all
the
time.
God wrench.
Yeah.
It's like, most of the time this will get the job done. No, I wanted to bring one more thing up. Well, we do have to do our whiskey segment because we haven't.
Yep.
So
We got a fun one this
Yeah,
week. This is, I'm pumped about this one.
I stumbled upon this one, and
Where'd you find it?
I'm not saying. It is the Traveler whiskey, and what actually piqued my interest is it comes from the Buffalo Trace Distillery.
BT Distillery. And if you guys know, we've talked about it. We're a huge fan of Buffalo Trace Distillers. They're tough to find. Mm-hmm. They have became an extremely valuable Chase bottle. Mm-hmm. Pretty much their entire line, from base Buffalo Trace all the way up to E.H. Taylor, Blanton's. And this is a celebrity collaboration.
There's a map on the back side of this label.
Oh,
That's cool.
that's really cool.
So we're looking through the bottle from the front end here. So they did like a very, just kind of a standard.
It's
bottle.
simple. It's
Yeah.
very, very simple. The front of the bottle is probably 3/4 of an inch tall. Mm-hmm. It goes around it goes around the front of the bottle. The front
You're talking
half of
about the
bottle.
label.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it just says Traveler's Whiskey, 90 proof.
Yep.
Just simple, like, you would look at this bottle probably like it was any other bottle that has ever existed. Like, you would overlook this bottle personally.
I did.
Yeah.
I 100% did, and then it caught my attention because I seen there was I looked over and there was a few of them on an end cap, which normally when it's on an end cap, it's generally like a newer bottle that they're promoting. So I grabbed it and I looked at it and I read through it and I seen Buffalo Trace Distillery and I'm like, well, I've never heard of this one through them. This is actually a collective bottle with Chris Stapleton.
The old Christopher Stapler.
And I like me some Chris Stapleton. So
Some good music, good vibes, good whiskey.
this says blend number 40 is the carefully curated result of countless hours of testing and tasting. It's completely unique combination of whiskeys from award-winning distilleries and exactly what you'd expect. A premium whiskey that speaks for itself. And I would say it does exactly that.
I will go to the extent right now, without having the rest of their lineup next to it to taste it with. And I've never had E.H. Taylor, but I've had pretty much everything else that they've ever made. I genuinely think this might be their best bottle that they've made. It's good.
It's fantastic.
It's really good.
It's a super smooth bottle. I started with this at the beginning of the podcast here, and I kind of sucked mine down.
It's delicious. I'm a huge fan of Eagle Rare. I think Eagle Rare is better than Buffalo Trace. I think Buffalo Trace is a great bourbon. It's all really freaking hard to find. I think Eagle Rare is better than Blanton's. I might argue this is better than Eagle Rare. I mean, we had Eagle Rare at the bar today.
We had Eagle Rare for supper.
And I mean, that gives me a pretty good comparison. I think this is better.
We had that on ice, and I'm thinking this is better. This isn't on ice, and I'm like, it's
delicious.
It's not too sweet. It's not too burny. It's just got that kind of perfect blend of just what you expect in a whiskey.
What are you getting for notes out of it?
Right off the bat, I get that sweet kind of brown sugar. Just a hint of it.
Are you getting cherry? Because I feel like I'm getting cherry.
I'm not picking up cherry.
Some caramel.
That's what I'm picking up, actually. More than the brown sugar.
There's
is the
caramel. Yeah.
You're right. And it's pronounced caramel, but it's fine.
A caramel.
The caramel.
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony dipped his wick in this bottle.
From the Minnesota Timber Pups.
Timby Pups.
The Timberlinks.
Timber
Justin Timberlinks.
Blossoms.
That's an inside joke because Ty always gets sports teams wrong.
Sports ball.
The beach basket catch it up.
The the squiggly wick and kick it.
The checkered board ball kick into a net game.
I love when they shoot the puck into the basket. That's the best time when they got their extra points for the field goal. So,
No, I think we just stopped talking about the coolness of this bottle because the whiskey is so good. But on the back label of the bottle, after it tells you that this is a partnered bottle with Chris Stapleton, there's a roadmap to a treasure, and I think we have to follow it.
is it actually to a treasure?
I don't know.
That's what I thought. That was my first thought. Was like, this has got to be the treasure.
There's a big X marks the spot.
There's like Old Boone's Distillery.
Hold on. What if this is just a piece of the map, and every numbered bottle had other pieces of the map that you had to like put the puzzle together, like National Treasure style, and one of them has a key in it with a code that unlocked the thing on the back of the Declaration.
The back of the thing with the Declaration. I like that. Yeah, I'm agreeing actually though. Like
It's a
map.
partial map of something.
I don't want to say it over the air because if it's a map and you people go buy it, I don't want you getting ahead of us.
Yeah, no. You'll meet us there and we'll fight you and
We'll split the
win.
treasure or something.
No,
But we're going to
I'm
have to
taking
drink
all
less whiskey because this helps zoom in on it.
What if we fill it with water? Maybe that's the thing, is you have to drink all of it and then you have to fill it with water so you can actually read the map.
Okay, so on the top of the bottle, there's OUN in big letters.
Uh-huh.
On the
It's
bottle,
partial river on the bottom. Do you see that? It's like IVER or something.
yeah, there's part of the R there.
Something river. We're going to figure this out by the end of this.
I bet you the top part is county.
Think so?
Big county letters. So there's big county. We're
What
looking
if it was
through.
country?
Oh, shit. Colonel Boone's.
What if it was count me?
Colonel Todd's. I gotta stop saying. I do. I'm giving away all the secrets here.
Yeah, no, we're... If you guys have a bottle of Travelers and you figure this out before us, congrats, but I
Don't forget we told you, though.
Yeah, don't forget where you came from.
We'll share with you if you share with us.
But...
What are the tasting notes on this?
You want to hear the real ones? Mm-hmm. The real deal. Complex aromas of vanilla, aged fruit, buttery shortbread.
Buttery shortbread. There's definitely a good butter in that whiskey.
The whole buttery thing, like, until you actually, like, acknowledge it, it's such a confusing concept because, like, butter is such, like, a weird term.
But I think about it on like a warm piece of
Yeah.
buttered, like sourdough.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I'm tasting.
Rounded off by caramel, and a touch of oak.
Well, we got the caramel.
And I don't know, I wish they would expand upon what fruit it is, because dried fruit or aged fruit is just too broad.
Yeah, it's like everything. It's not citrusy
Nope, it's not.
like some
That's
of our
why I was
previous
feeling
bottles.
the cherry.
Yeah.
Maybe some apricots.
Why do you say it like that? Go get me some yogurt. I'd love some yogurt.
Roof.
Cool whip. Cool whip.
The palate has a touch of sweetness followed by spice, toasted nut, and oak flavors with a robust finish. I want something more detailed than this. Give me something better. Talk to me. Yes, I'm over 21.
Got ID'd tonight.
Yeah, what the heck? Caitlin?
Yeah, Caitlin.
Cheapers.
I've only been to that bar like
She served
100,000
us
times.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Frickin' Caitlin. I know your boss was there today, so I'm not going to give you too much flack, but come on.
Your boss, Brad, whom we know.
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah.
Come on. We're
We're
almost 30.
We're regulars, for God's sake.
Jesus.
We're there once a week.
All right, this is a little bit more detailed. The whiskey is light on the nose, fruity warmth reminiscent of green apple or grape. On the nose.
I can't smell nothing but cigars.
There isn't an individual scent that stands out, but the overall composition is a bit unfamiliar, not falling into typical bourbon. It's very light, while not off-putting in any way. It's also not super memorable and simply lacks presence on the nose. The palate breathes a ton of life into the whiskey, most noticeable due to its light yet smooth, almost creamy mouthfeel. Light oak, maple sugar candy, sweet corn, caramel, buttercream make for a dessert-like synergy of flavors. Sweet tooths will be put to the test as the level of sweetness will be fun for some, but over the top for others. I can see that. Like, it's got that sweetness that you can't really quite put a finger on, but it's enjoyable. And I like that.
And I don't think it's over the top because I'm not like a huge sweet. Like, I do like my sweet bourbons, I will say, but like, I've had that brown sugar bourbon that you like.
Yeah, that BSB.
And I couldn't put it just in a glass and drink it like
No,
that.
like if I'm taking a shot of bourbon, like that would be the one that I would pick because it's
Right.
enjoyable for like a short period of time, but it doesn't do disservice to like just tasting bourbon.
Right.
neat, right. Like it's if I want to do a shot of bourbon, I want something that tastes good that I can just punch and I don't feel bad for it.
Right.
And that's that. And that's because it's a huge overabundance of flavor. It's very, very sweet. It's not going to cook your tongue off because it's so spicy.
Yeah.
You know, it's an enjoyable shot, and that's the extent of it.
No, this is not that.
No.
This is just a overall smooth. Like, I would freeze it and put it over ice cream if I could, as like a syrup.
Uh-huh. And I think that's where the 90 proof falls into because it's not harsh. Mm-hmm. You know, you start to get into your 100s, 105s, 110s and stuff like that kind of cook you a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, you're almost falling into a rye category. It does say on the finish that little bit of spice finally comes in, which it does. You know, it's on the very, very like back end of your tongue after you swallow.
And it is very, very subtle, very small.
Yeah.
It's nothing like knock your socks off by any means.
No. And like I said, I wouldn't expect anything more or less from a 90 proof. The candied fruit sweetness transitions quickly to savory leather. Never chewed on leather, but drops off fairly quickly from there, leaving behind a mild spice note. Like the start, it's simple and relatively short ending. So, I mean, the big bulk of it is kind of right in the middle where you're getting most of your tasting stuff. It's simple on the surface, but it's anything but. It's the first celebrity collaboration of Buffalo Trace, and it is an extremely good bottle.
It's killing it. I mean, honestly, it wasn't a horrible price point either. I think I paid, God, I want to say I paid $40 or close to 40 to 50.
At Buffalo Trace price,
Right.
it's a steal.
Yeah.
It's an absolute steal.
Go out and buy yourself a bottle of
Because
it.
I'm going to tell you, buying Buffalo Trace at $30, $40, $50, I'm not blinking an eye at it. Mm-hmm. And for this to be similar priced, I do think this stops Buffalo Trace.
So we're going to talk to Sarah and Andy. We're going to see what they can do.
Obviously the Buffalo Trace Distillery is tough to come by. They had Buffalo Trace in store. We bought them out. It is what it is. This is a new exciting thing that they're doing, and we're going to see if they can get it.
I think tomorrow you need to talk to them.
That's my job tomorrow. I'll have a conversation.
Perfect.
I'll say Tyler really wants to buy this from here instead of buying it from...
I didn't buy it from anywhere else. I bought it from them without them knowing. Through this different... What's that? Oh, sorry. Went through a tunnel there.
Yeah, we just cut out technical difficulties with this new mic.
Yeah. Oh, there we are.
There
We're back.
We're back.
Perfect.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. No,
like we said, great bottle.
Yep.
Get it from
Sarah Andy. Sorry.
Oh man, it is good. I don't know. It's a great bottle.
It's probably one of my new favorites, to be honest. And if it stays at that price point,
the crazy thing is it's sneaky. Like I said, like Buffalo Trace, they're not shy. Like they know they make good bourbons, and normally like it's aggressively advertised. People know it. You're looking at this bottle, and it is the most simple looking thing with the most complex like stuff hidden within it.
it's subtle.
It's sneaky.
Like I said, so I stood at the liquor store and looked through a bunch of bottles, and I picked up 2 other ones, and then I looked at this one again. For some reason, it caught my eye twice. Well, I said the end cap. That's what
See, that's the thing is you're never looking at it twice. If you overlook it the first time, if it's not on an end cap, you're missing it because it's so simple. If you don't pick it up and actually examine it and be like, oh, like that's cool. There's a map. Oh, that's cool. That's Chris Stapleton.
Yep.
Oh shit. Like.
Yep.
This is Buffalo Trace.
So I was like, I looked at all the bourbons. I was like, okay, I want to find a cooler bottle. And I looked through them all, and I'm like, okay, what do I want to spend? You go through the motions of it, and then I'm like, well, screw it. I've got a few ideas that I liked in my head. I'm going to walk back to the beer cooler, get the beer I need quick, and then come back out. And I was just buying some specialty beer that could only be found here at Sarah and Andy's. No, but well, the gig is up.
We're just poking fun at it.
Yeah, we're poking fun at it.
Like I said,
I am
going forward. We have a really cool plan, and
I didn't buy regular beer. I will actually say that it was like a fancy high end frou for a special drink. So
yeah,
but I walked back out, and I happened to see this on an end cap. And I'm like, because there was just one row of it on the shelf, and that's why I bypassed it the first time. Yeah. But I know I looked at it, and I'm like, looks kind of basic.
Well, and that's the thing. It is the most basic bottle. Like, this looks like a $20 bottle. It is flat glass, simple, unstained cork. Like, it is bare bones. It looks like there's been nothing gone into it.
That's what I think is super hard about picking out whiskeys. Is the whole don't judge a book by its cover goes out the freaking window.
It does, because I'm sitting here looking at an Elijah Craig that has a cool shape to it. There's some texture.
The cork follows the shape.
Like, it's well thought out. And then you have this thing.
That's just bottled.
It's just plain.
It's bottled, stickered. There's a map on it, which you couldn't see the map from where I was standing. Now the map is just a really cool touch. And
like a weird, like, no offense, but like a gross tan. Like, there's just nothing that stands out about this bottle. Yet it's
fantastic,
really good.
So I walk into the cooler, walk back out, and I see there's an end cap of it. And there's an end cap up by the register of it as well. And I'm like, this is a new release bottle.
Uh-huh.
And so instantly I walked back over there and I picked one up and I read through it quick and I'm like, this is Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Well, and like, again, nothing on the front explains that. The
You have to
font
read.
on the back is tiny,
Yep.
and you make it through the second paragraph and you finally figure out that it's actual Buffalo Trace.
And then I seen Chris Stapleton.
Right.
Actually, no, you seen Chris Stapleton. I'm not going to lie to you. I seen Buffalo Trace Distillery.
And that was the sell?
And I was like, you know what?
So that was the funny thing is he came and he's like, oh, like I found this bottle that was Buffalo Trace. And I was like, oh, shit. Like I just saw that they had a celebrity release. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was a country singer. And then we did some digging and then.
Well, it does say. You read it. It says.
Yeah.
Because you read it. Like, so I read that, and that's where I stopped.
It's in the same sentence, I'm pretty. Yeah, it is. He just didn't read far enough.
No.
Dude,
And
we have his autograph now, too.
CS?
Right there.
That's the best you got?
Come on, Christopher.
Come on, dude.
No, it's a. Goddamn. It's a good bottle.
Go buy it.
Go buy your.
We're not sponsored by Buffalo Trace or
We
nothing.
are sponsored by Chris Stapleton.
We are. And actually, we're going to put him on with you here. Let's give him a jingle here. Here. The phone number you have dialed has not set up the voicemail.
Hey, this is Chris.
Oh, shit.
What's up, guys? This is
Hi,
Chris
it's
Stapleton.
Chris. It's Chris Stapleton. I don't know how he talks. I really don't. Sorry if we offended you there, Chris. But
Don't not sponsor us now.
yeah, right. No, a good bottle. Go check it out. We're gonna try and get it in here in town for the locals, and I will continue to buy it.
Oh, I think I'm buying a case of this.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Like if they sat there and told me like the only way I can get this is if you get 12 bottles, I'm buying 12 bottles.
Well, I'm gonna buy 6 of the 12. So
No, because I want all 12 of them.
yeah, you can suck it. And they better buy 2 cases.
All right. We are an hour and a half. Let's hit some current events if you got some over here. Looks like you got something.
I really don't have much this week.
Okay.
The only thing I seen, I think we just talk about it next week. I seen this cool. There's a museum, Fishing Hall of Fame in Minnesota, in Little Falls. So I'm gonna dive a little more into it. I had just seen a clip of it, and I didn't look into it enough to talk about it. So we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Little cliffhanger. for ya.
Yeah. Leave you on a cliff. Other tiny little bits of current events. Turkey season started.
Oh, that's open now.
That's open. I just don't think I'm going to do it now,
Yeah.
apparently, because it's open and I haven't done anything.
I thought you had cams out.
I do, and I have turkeys on camera, and it opened yesterday. And when you're listening to this, it was a week ago. And if you're listening to this a week ago, I probably haven't done anything. And it's probably done. I got too much shit going on. It's not, I don't think it's even feasible. I don't have the time to go do it. And
Yeah, the time to go just sit.
like, you could hunt just the morning or just the evening or whatever, but like, that's just not how it usually boils down. Is like, sure, you sit in one spot that you think's good, and if you don't do it, you start chasing a fucking tom that's gobbling around, and it turns into a whole day thing, and now all of a sudden your day's gone, and I just don't have a day to give.
No, I understand.
And
that.
I feel dumb because we've been talking about turkey hunting for the last like 5 weeks.
No, it's cool that you just give up on everyone else's hopes and dreams who are living
You just
vicariously
want-
through you.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I hope you guys all, if you're turkey hunting, have had a successful turkey season by the time you listen to this. It just might not be me this year.
Hey, that's okay.
But it also might be. Who knows? I might panic, and I might go buy one, and I might go bake a turkey, and it might happen before next week, and I doubt it.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not going to happen. Also, fun fact, last episode, we were talking about keeping my boat. I sold my boat. It's gone.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
gone.
He sold his boat. We're not doing nothing with it. We're just gonna
Boat's gone. We're committing to the new one. Yep.
we're gonna figure something out so we can get a bass deck on it. We're gonna fabricate something that it's an insert for when he brings it home.
I think the platform that's in there, I'm hoping is just easy to remove. We don't have to destroy it, and we just put it back in when we need to.
It's not gonna be easy.
I think it is. They said it was.
They're lying.
Also, I talked to a guy today that said he didn't think it was that easy.
Yeah.
So.
And it wasn't me, but I
No,
know.
it's a different guy who's in the boat industry.
Yeah, I'm not even in the boat industry, and I know better.
Crestliner said it was that easy.
Yeah, well,
Crestliner said there's no issues with it. They said there's no structural anything. There's no flotation in it, which is hard to believe. I can't help but think there's foam underneath that thing.
steel frame, baby.
All steel? Might be. That might be easy enough. If that's the case, it's no big deal.
Well, I'm not talking about the deck. Talk about the boat,
The dick?
the big deck.
Well, regardless, I'm going to take the thing out. I'm going to store it over our shoulder here in the little casting deck cubby over there.
You think so? No, you have a garage now.
I do have a garage now. I always had a garage, but now I have a bigger garage.
Yeah, so now it's going in your garage, and I'm going to deliver your casting deck we've fucking fabricated for the boat you just sold.
No, you said you had a use for that.
No, I didn't.
All right, on that note, thanks, guys, for tuning in. We appreciate you. Have a great week.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. That's been episode number 9. Next week's number 10.
Big number DAs.
Diez, muchachos.
Numero 10.
We will see you soon.
Buenas noches.
Y'all have a good weekend. Have a good week. And we'll continue this on next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you guys.
Peace
We're
out.
out.
Bye.